Game number 1 in the grand final, everybody, and we have Team Google is looking for an umbrella. That's actually what that name translates into. So the Google boys going up against the Sandwich Monkeys. And, well, to the left side, we already have the Sandwich Monkey with the first ban here. Infernal Shrines is the map, and of course, at the beginning, it's once again the question, what do you ban out? Most of the time, the team that has the first ban does not go for a Kalthas or Tyrande ban, but instead allows the second team to decide what they want to do here. So you get either access to Kalthas or both of the heroes are allowed, and this is also the case again in this game. Falset is banned out, forcing Google into a position where they have now to either ban Tyrande or just ban out something completely different. That's usually how it works. I mean, very rarely do you see in such a scenario a ban on Kalthas. Normally, it's really just Tyrande that teams are like fighting over. So if the Google boys here are okay going up against the Tyrande, they're going to ban out something completely different, but it's very likely that Tyrande is being banned now, and the Sandwich Monkeys are going to head into a Kalthas as their first hero. And there's the ban on Tyrande, and the Sandwich Monkeys now with the opportunity to go for Kalthas. He's great on the map. A lot of area damage, and there we have him now. So it's all about Tyrande usually in these drafts. I mean, most people look at the drafts and they're always like talking about Tyrande and Kalthas, but if you think about it, it's mostly Tyrande more than anything else. Like, she's really the hero that everything hinges at. Is a team okay going up against her, yes or no? And from there on, everything else just like develops. So we have again the early combo with a Thrall and a Meridian, and we've seen Thrall combos quite a bit here already today. So normally after Kalthas is taken, it's Thrall that the teams are fighting over. Darth Duval, thanks for the sub, my friend. Thank you very much for the support here. So Meridian and Thrall are taken, and well, with the Sandwich Monkeys, they have now an opportunity to go into an ETC, for example, if they want to use that with the Kalthas. In general, just area damage here on this map is pretty sweet. It's also a map that is very strong for Sylvanas, for example. Uther is a hero that we oftentimes see taken. So there's a couple of ways of how we can actually branch out from that start that we're seeing here right now. And they go into Antacida before they do anything else. I mean, he already has, of course, the opportunity to give them a bit more area of effect damage on those particular shrine fights. I suppose we could see him theoretically with a Brightwing combo off later. That Johanna is already indicating that they are trying to go, of course, for even more wave clear, so that they have a bit of a better chance to really get those punishers. Johanna with Knight takes pawn on level 1, Tacita with the storm damage. Only question is if Tacita is going to be solo support, but judging from the last game that they played, I assume that's what they're going to do here. You could combo him with the Brightwing, but then you would of course rely heavily also on that polymorph. You would give up a bit of the potential damage that you could get in these scenarios. And right now, I don't really feel that the Sandwich Monkeys are going to be willing to do that. So they're most likely going to try to play Tacita as a solo support here. And Johanna already with a bit of wave clear, Kalthas with the same thing. Vala, Sylvanas are still heroes that we could then see later on during the draft. Jaina as well for the poke damage. And I suppose that Jaina is actually a hero that the Google boys are going to try to rely upon, whereas the Sandwich Monkeys could ban her out. Sylvanas banned now by the red team. And the Sandwich Monkeys, I guess either with an Uther ban or with a Jaina ban, both of those heroes would really cater towards what the Google boys are building right now. I mean, you have Meridian for lockdown, you have Thrall already with that wolf that you can use. If Jaina is part of that composition, you can attempt to really just like burst the target down. You have also a nice area of effect damage, especially with, of course, Snowstorm taken on level 4 if you're fighting over the objective. And at the same time, having an Uther with a Divine Shield is another really strong hero to cater towards that. But they don't ban out any of this. They actually ban out Reyna, who's of course an amazing damage dealer in itself. We've seen him several times right now, but I really thought they would forgo two of the heroes, for one of the heroes that I just mentioned. And I think that we are going to see the red team lock down at least one of the two right now. So they have the opportunity to go into an Uther, the opportunity to go into a Jaina. Both of the heroes will be strong for them. They need a little bit more area of effect damage. That's also where Vala comes into play again. So if they don't take it, I'm pretty sure that the Sandwich Monkeys are probably going to lean towards adding a Vala to their setup as well. We also have still that Sonya out there. It's a bit unlikely that the red team is using her, but the Sandwich Monkeys could still rely on a Sonya here. Then again, we're talking again about Tacita as a potential solo support. So you can still add, for example, a Karazim in one of those setups. Well, for now we have Jaina actually picked. Most like the Karazim as a setup addition for the Sandwich Monkeys. We've seen that actually earlier already with like a Tyrande and a Karazim with a damage build, but still adding, of course, a bit of heal. So the Sandwich Monkeys could do something similar, but they already showed that they really like to play Tacita as a solo support, and he's strong. But if you, of course, add that Tacita oftentimes we don't see Tassadar with a Sonya. Well, Tassadar with a Sonya is great, don't get me wrong. But like Tassadar solo with a Sonya is a little bit more rare because, well, Sonya really likes to be up at the front, and even with Ferocious Healing and that shield, you usually want to have something else that really helps her out. And having a panic button like a Divine Shield, like an Ancestral Healing, or at least a Charism that can give her a bit of additional heal is oftentimes what the teams prefer here. So to also like make sure that that doesn't happen, we're seeing now the red team coming off that Jaina with a heal here, taking that Charism away. So the opportunity to play a Charism with a damage build and having that Tassadar in there to help out on top of that doesn't really exist anymore. So if you want to play combo another healer in, then Brightwing would probably be your choice. But I still expect that at least Vala is going to be taken here. I think that she would be a great addition because Kalthas, of course, is a very cooldown heavy hero that relies a lot on the chain bombs and the flame strike, whereas Vala can first of all use a multi-shot build here, but also has a bit of solid auto attack damage and has also that escape skill available. So that's a great hero if you want to add even a bit more pressure on those shrine fights. And with Tassadar Storm, Kalthas Flame Strike and chain bombs, Vala with the multi-shot, you would have a very nice arsenal, just like complementing that Johanna with Night Take Spawn. So yeah, Vala would be my personal choice in this case, and then you can think what you combo off with it. And that looks like, well, first of all, we have an ETC here. That is actually pretty smart. I mean, you can go for Proc Rock here and also Groupies, so that would be pretty sweet. And I want to see what the last pick is going to be, if it's really going to be that Vala, or if they're going to switch it up a bit, because they have a couple of other options as well, of course, on top of all of that. But ETC, I actually like that pick. And even if you don't go into Proc Rock, Groupies alone is also something that helps you later on a bit. And Tassadar is going to get a bit of assistance of that. Johanna most likely going to head into Laws of Hope on level 4, I suppose, over the Eternal Retaliation. It's actually tricky. Laws of Hope gives you... There's my girl, there's Vala. Laws of Hope gives you a lot more soul sustain, but Eternal Retaliation on those shrine fights is amazing for that siege damage. Then again, they have Vala, Kalthas, Tassadar, so I suppose Laws of Hope it's probably going to be. I mean, I would be more afraid about survival than about the damage output, because to be honest with you, the rest of the setup is so strong. You can get so much damage out with the area of effect that I really don't think they need Eternal Retaliation on Johanna. Then again, we have now for the opponent, I mean, a bit more range damage wouldn't be too bad either. We have seen a couple of Nazebos here already earlier, but Zagara is, of course, also a great addition. Nazebo is starting to make a little bit of a comeback, and I feel on this map, if you really just, like, poke into those shrines, that can really help you. If you have the spiders, if you have also, of course, all those toads. But Zagara on the map can also add quite a bit of lane pressure and push the waves back, and you have also, of course, then again, that more that you could utilize too. Both of the heroes kind of work here. Zagara is going to try to get the damage in. Banelings, for example, on those minions, that can really help you too. We're going to kick this best of 3 series off, the grand final here with an Infernal Shrines game, so guys, get ready. Game number 1 starting in a second. The first game in the finals, ladies and gentlemen, is starting up, and we have Google is looking for an umbrella. That name that takes about 5 minutes to actually like pronounce. Yeah, the guys are playing in blue here to the left. We're having them with Stalk on Muradin, Unstable on Charism, Andilendi on Jaina, Mopsio on Thrall again, and Sphyxie on Zagara. And to the right side of the map, we're having their opponents. It is the Sandwich Monkeys with AD on Vala, BKB on ETC, Snow on Johanna, Sportbile on Tassadar, and Styr on Kalthas. So yeah, game number 1, the best of 3 series here at the final, and a lot of AoE that we're actually seeing for the team in red, so I'm really liking the setup, and I love that we have this adjustment on BKB's level 1 talent here with the Proc Rock. It makes so much sense. They play Tassadar as a solo support here, and they just wanted to add something else that is going to help them a little bit with the sustain during those fights. Charism was taken away. It was an option to use him, play a damage build, and then still rely on the heal that he has. Or maybe even a hybrid build, but in this case, Charism was picked away, and then they went into ETC and use him right now with the Proc Rock and later on with Rupees. Already a lockdown attempt against Muradin, and whoa, the Dwarf hops away in the last moment. That was a very close call, actually. Could have died there. With the talents that we are seeing right now on level 1, it's still pretty much the norm. I mean, we already talked about Proc Rock, of course, and the multi-shot build was to be expected, as was Night Take Spawn. It's a lot of area of effect damage in general that we're currently seeing on the side of Team Sandwich Monkeys. I mean, they're looking at Night Take Spawn, we have that Flame Strike later, the Chain Bombs as well, multi-shot, and well, with Condemn and everything else that they're bringing to the table here, they should really be able to put a lot of pressure into these objective fights. It's not going to be easy for the Google boys to really make anything happen here. that Zagara pick later on, that's also one of those things. I mean, Zagara can, of course, add quite a lot of lane pressure, which is absolutely nice. You can also use then the Roaches and those Banelings to get a bit more siege damage into those Infernal Shrine fights in itself. But still, overall, I would really give a bit of an advantage to the setup that we're seeing with the Sandwich Monkeys right now. They're very strong teams. I mean, both of these teams have exceptional players that they are currently running with. And I'm super curious to see which team is going to take the lead. And especially also what's going to happen then later on. Since with both of those teams leading towards also aggressive compositions, I could actually see one of the teams going for a bit of a surprise pick on the maps and maybe trying to utilize a pocket draft to get a bit of an advantage here in game number 2 or the potential game number 3. For now, we're having the first one, the first Infernal Shrine already fought over. It is going to be a Mortar Punisher, so not an Arcane Punisher just yet. Those are, of course, the big bad ones. But now Stork, BKB all in here in the middle up to the top lane. We see Vala going for the level 4 talent and she gets it. Gonna move down to the bot lane now to help the rest of the team out after she soaked that experience. Level 4 also dropping here for the team in blue. But overall, the better position for sure here for the red team. Now we see the Team Sandwich Monkeys with 27 of those minions already. Eternal Retaliation has actually been taken. I've been talking about it during the draft. I expected Laws of Hope with this particular build, but now with ETC going for Prog Rock, Johanna apparently deciding that with a double tank setup plus Prog Rock, she doesn't really have to go for Laws of Hope and instead goes for the maximum amount of damage that she can dish out now. ADRD moving back from the top lane, got saved by Sport Billy here. We had Mopsio and Andilendi trying to go for a kill, so that was also pretty well done. So we have a lot of things happening on the map actually right now. So first of all, Vala with the Soak of Experience up at the top. We had also the go straight for the Punisher here with the first Infernal Shrine dropping and ending up in the hands of the Sandwich Monkeys. But yeah, very small things are happening on the map right now. It tends to just like isolate a target, maybe like intercept somebody that is going from one lane to another, transitioning here. And down to the bot lane, we have now a 4 versus 3 with ETC taken down. Job well done. Of course, that also means that they lost a bit of experience there. And the team in general is actually quite low right now in hit points, especially in mana. I mean, Mopsio currently has like no mana whatsoever, so he will have to go back eventually. We have for now with the level 4 talents also pretty standard stuff taken. Arsenal to give Vala even more ability to just like go for siege damage. We're seeing after Retaliation, which I just mentioned, now Snow with even more siege damage as well. So those shrine fights are going to be incredibly difficult for the Google boys here because there's just way too much to deal with. Like all of these abilities that they have are going to enable the Sandwich Monkeys to just like poke you into those closed off areas here, doing damage against the opponent and the minions at the same time. Level 7 now for both of the teams, and we are seeing Conviction taken for Johanna. We're having Face Melt, oh sorry, the Loudspeaker, the Face Melt talent taken here now also for ETC for the increased knockback. And down to the bot lane, a bit more pressure against that fort as Fixie is attempting to just like set up a creep carpet that helps him to see what's happening here. But even with the vision that he has on the creep tumor, they still go for the camp, and there's Mirrodin. They're trying to go in for this one. Andilendi is extremely low. Sport Billy actually going out with a dimensional shift. BKB is dropping in hit points, and so is Khaldor. That was a bit of an optimistic move that we saw there by the Sandwich Monkeys. They knew that there was vision thanks to the creep of Zagara, but they moved in anyways, trying to just like burst the Khaldor camp away. That didn't work out the way that they intended to. So now we have them dealing with a camp first of all that was stolen away. Khaldor's dead, needs to move up to the top where we're now seeing another Infernal Shrine spawn. Not really the situation that they wanted to end up with, so that was a little bit awkward there. A bit too optimistic on their part. We have now with Johanna at the top pretty much alone, Snow already moving away, and I guess he's going to have to well up here. He still has that cooldown ready, so that's not going to be a problem for him. Frostbitten as a level 7 talent now taken for Jaina, and of course we already have the team active at the shrine itself, getting those minions, and it looks very much like at least this one is gonna be let go. Arcane Punisher, that's what they have to deal with, but at the bot lane with that fort being exposed, there's the decision made to just like take down the structure and make sure that they get the experience. So everybody is moving in, bursting it away. Top lane Arcane Punisher is of course going to try to do the exact same thing there. Once that it has been taken, and there's level 9.5. So if they actually like take away for 2 down in addition to that, they should be able to get level 10 and then deal with the Punisher, and I guess that's the whole idea that they are running with here. So we have them heading straight into level 10. Heroic ability is now ready, and that leaves us with Blessed Shield, Force Wall, Phoenix, and I guess besides that, Mosh Pit and Vala Strafe is going to be the addition. There's also the Phoenix. Johanna is in a bit of trouble. Vala actually going for the Rain of Vengeance here. Rain of Vengeance Mosh Pit. Haven't seen that in quite some time, but it's of course an absolutely deadly composition that you can use to lock an opponent down hard. And it also helps you if you really just want to make sure that a hero like Jaina is taken out on the other side. And talking Jaina, Ring of Frost with Sundering has now been taken. Divine Palm, Avatar, and more. Their heroic abilities that they are aiming for. Level 11 nearly for the team in red. The Sandwich Monkeys looking pretty solid here, even though they lost that second Punisher. Well, they didn't really lose it. They gave it up. They just said, okay, let's not go for it. Let's take down the fort at the bot lane instead. So yeah, still a pretty solid situation here. 2 kills already. The 2 kills for for the Google Boys. For the team in blue. Sandwich Monkeys without a kill yet, but with that setup that they currently run here, it's pretty likely that they're going to get a kill eventually. So Oracle used again to take care of some of those creep tumors and take them down as fast as they can. So far, Asphyxia is really doing quite well when it comes to the creep spread. I mean, he's really putting quite some effort into it, making sure that he has just creep all over the map. And always, of course, trying to get it around those Infernal Shrines in particular, so that you end up in a battle over it, that you actually have an opportunity to maybe get a slight lead there. Camps again taken on the map, this time without the vision ready for the opponent, and that allows them to finally take one of the Khaldor camps here. But we have the rotation happening for the blue team now. But Mobsio should not be able to use Sundering here to isolate someone. Nah, it's a little bit too late. Like, yeah, if he would have moved down maybe a second or two faster, I guess he could have used Sundering to split the team. But so far, he wasn't able to drive a wedge between them. For now, we have the top lane pressuring in hard, though, and that's where another Bruiser camp has to be eliminated before the fort is being taken down here. But still, a bit of a fight in the middle of the map, as another shrine is announced at the bottom. So yeah, Johanna is going to take the top now, taking down that Bruiser camp that was threatening the fort, and will rotate back to the team, with Sport Bilo, of course, just throwing out shields right now. He has Kala's Embrace by now, and therefore he will just like try to preload those shields whenever he can. They're actually delaying things a bit because Johanna isn't here yet, and I really like it. They're not wasting any time. They are just sitting at the spot, saying, okay, we have a couple of seconds, and take the Bruiser camp, and oh, nice! The great force wall. Mobsio! It's, the Divine Palm saves him for now. But yeah, he's really low. That was a great force wall that we saw there from Sportfield. I like that a lot. And now Sundering used, not a good Sundering to be honest with you. That didn't really do a whole lot for them. And now they have the full control over the shrine, the Sandwich Monkeys that is. But Stork now with his own heroic ability already used, and they're starting to go in against Tacita. Still a bit of poke happening here, and 35 minions. That should still be a secured Punisher for the blue team. And they get the second one. It's still an experience lead that we have on the side of the red team here. The Sandwich Monkeys are close to level 13. They're going to get the talent any second now. But of course, one of the big problems is that they still have to deal with the Punisher here. And the Frozen Punisher is already doing its thing and just like trying to use that. Well, time has been announced there, 20. And we have for now also the Punisher. Well, 13 talent, by the way, is already there. And the Punisher is moving in. So is Thrall. They're trying to go for ETC. Condemn is being used. Stork is flanking from the side. The Ring of Frost is already down, but Andy is extremely low. Once again, the Divine Palm here. Snow gets bursted away, though, even though he used his Iron Skin. Maw doesn't hit anything at all. Both of the teams on 13 now, but Mobsio and the rest of the team are so low, and they still have to go through that particular fort. But there's still minions that are soaking the shots. Down goes Zagara, but the rest of them is able to escape, at least for now, with Stork now hitting another Stormbolt to stop ETC. They are able to get away. So it's a trade in the end, a hero for a hero, a kill for a kill. With level 13, we're now finally seeing the chain bombs in action for Stier, who definitely needs more mana. We have also, well, Spell Shield taken for Johanna, so it looks that at this point, Snow is more or less saying that Jaina is giving me way too much trouble even with my Iron Skin. So Spell Shield it is, and keep in mind that of course there's also that Chain Lightning on Thrall to consider. Level 13 talent, by the way, in this case we're having again, of course, Giant Killer taken. So Giant Killer as the additional damage talent here for him. And with follow through, of course, kind of makes sense to go for that. We have also, again, ETC moving away here. And so far, it's actually been a really nice game. 3 kills against 1, back and forth. Punisher so far ending up in the hands of the blue team, but at the same time, the experience lead here for the Sandwich Monkeys, who are doing exceptionally well with the rotations on the map. I really like their decision making here. It's probably one of the things that really sets them apart, at least so far, from their opponents, since they were always able to just get a bit more experience, realize when they would win or lose a fight, and then react accordingly. Another temple now active at the top, and they go again for a camp. I'm really liking it. They always make sure that they get as many of these camps as they can. They don't waste any time. Every single time they have a bit of downtime, waiting for a wave, waiting for a hero to rotate over the user to take a camp, to get a better position in the game itself. And now we have both of the team closing in on level 15, with everyone moving up to the top lane to go for the next potential Punisher right now. And at this point, the Sandwich Monkeys really have to make sure that they're going to get one of those Punishers there eventually. The Endless Creep on Zagara is, of course, helping her to like set up the vision here for the team, and that's exactly what they're trying to use. We have Unstable trying to flank in, actually, like a bit. And Karazim is not going to be able to achieve too much, but as long as he's going to be ready for the Divine Palm, it's all good in the hood. For now, we have, again, the attempt to go in. ATC could try to use that Mosh Pit if Vala combos off that Rain of Vengeance of hers. They're starting to go for level 16 though, and there's another wave ready. So if they are able to get that wave, they might be close enough to hit the additional talent, but they can't really move down it because they have 20 versus 16. And here comes, by the way, into play what I've been talking about earlier. All those AoE skills that they have and that help them now to poke against the minions. And with level 16 so close, time is running out for the blue team. Like, the Google boys have to be really careful here. Sundering is still on cooldown, but only for another 3 seconds, so that's gonna help. If they can drive a wedge between the heroes and maybe get a shot in ADRD, that would be all that they need, but they have to move away since 16 is now ready for the Sandwich Monkeys, and that is putting the Mortar Punisher into the hands of the team in red. So once more, double imposing presence, helping of course quite a lot against the hero with Giant Killer, like Thrall. And we're having Vala with a sustain thanks to Blood for Blood. The Punisher jumping in. They're trying to go for a kill here, of course. Level 16 talent isn't ready yet for the Google boys, and this fort is, of course, doomed. There's no way that they can save that. Guardian Punisher is still at 50%, and that is solid experience that we're once again seeing drop into the hands of the Sandwich Monkeys, and they get the kill. No, they don't! Divine Shield, Divine Palm for now is saving Stork, but a great Rain of Vengeance comboed with a Force Wall. And even though Sundering has been used, we see the kill against Mirrodin, and that is going to give them even more momentum. And they try to use it to go through the wall at least. The Punisher is down, but with that situation, they are still able to put some more pressure onto those towers here now too. Level 16 talent is ready, and that means that we have now, after the Mutalisk, the Brood expansion for Zagara, Stone Form for Mirrodin. He's still down for another 15 seconds, and we see the Circle of Life here at the front line for Karazim, who of course can always rely on Thrall and also Mirrodin being close to him, so that is going to give him extra healing power. And we have Karazim now, Kalthas with that Arcane Barrier. Talking about healing power, about damage in general, just a bit of an idea of what's currently happening in the game here. 31,000, pretty solid damage output for Thrall here, especially compared to Zagara, who's currently at 20,000. When we're talking about the opponent's team then though, there's Vala to consider with 33,000 at this point. Kalthas, of course, he didn't really get the opportunity to get a lot of damage done with those chain bombs. I mean, the talent has hit 3 levels ago, 4 levels ago, but since then we only saw one team fight, and even that one was pretty brief. Everybody was just like moving away. It was more of a positional battle than anything else. Right now we have the team still rotating on the map, and again the Sandwich Monkeys with great camp control here. I really like the way that they are controlling the camps on the map, and if you look at the minimap, for example, you can really see that they got most of the camps on the map so far. But there's a bit of a time window that we now have for the blue team, and they are starting to use that to put pressure on the top lane, where we also have a Bruiser camp that is pushing in hard, especially of course with that Shaman having the opportunity to like spawn these Fellhounds over and over again. It's really dangerous if you don't react to those in time. We have another shrine ready in the middle of the map right now, and that's where BKB is starting to take position with everybody else moving in. But thanks to all of those camps, we have a bit of a reaction happening for the Google boys. They have to just go in now and make sure that these camps are taken care of before they go for the actual shrine. But the shrine isn't active yet anyways, so they have a bit more time here. Oracle already used, Unstable in Vision. Sport Billy with a very nice position here, preloading shields as we speak, and is using the Force Wall to buy a bit more time. Andy with Panic Mode immediately heading towards the left side, and that gives them a 20 minion lead, and they move back. They know that they have all that they need. They wait for Vala first, and now they can poke. Now they can poke from a distance and utilize those AoE spells that they have. That slight advantage over the opponent, and it's exactly what's currently happening. So once again, Force Wall this time not really doing too much, but as long as they just hit their abilities here, they can do a whole lot of work, and that's exactly what's happening right now. Stork with his avatar though is starting to move in. Mopsio trying to go for ETC. BKB moves back 30 against 14's minion stacks. And again, they're starting to move in to poke a bit more with another multi-shot, with another storm. And everything that they hit is taking a minion or two with them. 34 against 23, and they go in with Snow. 39, they get it, and they go straight for Muradin. Muradin goes... What? Oh, Muradin is dead, and Unstable is able to escape. But down here, Zagara got isolated and got mosh pitted. Yep, she knows how to rock that body. And now we have not only Muradin down, but also Zagara. Mobsio could fall too. He gets slowed down already, and again, ETC is ready for action. Slides in, pushes him back in the triple kill. It's not only going to bring them close to level 20, but at the same time allowing them to move in with the Punisher. And the Frozen Punisher here is really starting to threaten not only the keep, but of course also core at this point. They have so much time right now that they can use, and with a force barrier, with also of course that indestructible on the side of Johanna, with Nexus Frenzy, it's pretty clear that they are going for core here. Oh my god, they even get the kill against Karazim thanks to the Punisher jumping in and going deep. And this looks very much like the Sandwich Monkeys are going to take the lead in the best of 3 series here at the Enter the Storm Europe qualifier. They go straight for core. The barrier is there, locked down against Muradin. The core already down to 30%. Jaina is down. This game, ladies and gentlemen, is pretty much over. The Punisher alone is going to end this. GG and well played as the Sandwich Monkeys take the lead in the best of 3 series here at the finals. Alright everybody, game number 2, Battlefield of Eternity. So the same tile set, we're once again playing on a Diablo map. And the Sandwich Monkeys are in the lead. They were just able to win the first game, which is actually pretty impressive. It was a very nice performance that they had there. I really liked the rotation on the map in particular. They did a great job just like moving, taking the camps, and always having a advantageous position going into the fights. The lineup was also very, very strong for that map in particular. For Infernal Shrines, it was great poke that they had. For now, we have the first ban on the side of Google is looking for an umbrella. The name is still killing me. So the Google boys here with the first ban in the game. As I already said, oftentimes we are seeing like heroes that are not Kel'Thas or Tyrande banned out by the first ban team, so that they get maybe a bit of a lead here. When we're talking about a map like Battlefield of Eternity, yeah, we have a Thrall ban. So after that last game, we see Thrall being banned out. Yeah, I think especially Mopsio is not going to be too happy about that, considering that every time that we casted these guys today, he was the one using Thrall here. But now the Sandwich Monkeys are in that situation where you have to think about, do we play against Tyrande, yes or no? And if they ban her out now, then of course we're going to most likely see Kel'Thas for the blue team, but they have a chance to also go for a completely different ban, allow Tyrande, and then pick Kel'Thas on their own. So that's usually what the early game is about. It's actually one of the things where a lot of people are talking about, like if we need nerfs on certain heroes, if there needs to be another balance patch. And they do exactly that. They ban out Sonya, aka not Tyrande, allowing the Google boys to get her immediately. So it's the immediate first pick. There's not even like a question about it. Tyrande's available, you pick Tyrande. And that's exactly what they do. So right now, it seems like the Sandwich Monkeys are okay going up against the Tyrande. And it's of course going to be interesting to see how they're going to fare against this. They lock down Kel'Thas right now, which was more or less a given. You can still go for Muradin here if you want to have that heavy frontliner. But at this point, yes, and there is Muradin. They could have gone into other heroes as well. Could have gone into a Falstad, could have gone into like whatever. Tondash, thank you very much for the resub, my friend. Thanks very much for the support. And yeah, so Muradin has been taken. And we have now for the blue team the chance to combo something off with Tyrande. And what is that? Usually either Diablo or ETC. In this case, they go for ETC, and we have Reyna as the addition to that. So a lot of single target damage here already. Could have seen a Jaina actually taken here on the side. I actually think that right now the Sandwich Monkeys are probably contemplating banning out Jaina. There are a couple of good bans for them, but Jaina would be my personal choice. And yes, that's what they do as well. So they ban out Jaina here. She just has too much burst damage that you can rely upon if you get that stun into stun with Tyrande using her extra damage. And ETC, if he hits a Mosh Pit, is also quite the menace there. So this is going to become a little bit interesting. I suppose that either the Uther is most likely going to be taken by the Sandwich Monkeys here if they get the chance to do that. Zagara is banned out by the blue team now, so I suppose that Uther is going to be one of the picks that we see for the Sandwich Monkeys now. Oh! I have no idea how to pronounce that, but dude, thank you very much for the support. Thank you very much for the subscription there. Remiziak. Hey, I tried. A for effort. Yeah, so we have Uther most likely picked now because, well, actually what am I saying? Like, they have Tyrande already. It's not like they're not going to run into ETC Uther. I was like, in my head, I was still like trying to... They could still take Uther, but it's not going to be as high of a priority pick for them right now as I thought. In my head, for some reason, I still had them without support because oftentimes we just don't see Tyrande getting into the draft itself. And then Uther would, of course, been a great addition to ETC. But with that Tyrande already chosen, even if you go for a damage build, it's very unlikely that Uther is going to be chosen. As in a second support, we don't really see that these days, and especially not if all that you get from it would be that Uther and ETC combo. So yeah, Falstad is the hero now for the Sandwich Monkeys. As I said before, I could have seen Falstad banned out over instead of a Sonya, but with the Google boys leaning towards that melee assassin style, I suppose that the Sandwich Monkeys just said, like, hey, if they don't take Thrall, they're most likely going to try and take Sonya, so just make sure that we ban her out as well. Uther is still taken. Still solid, as I said, but not for the reasons that I was thinking at first. But it still makes sense, of course, to go for Uther in this setup. You could have gone for a Charism instead, but having Uther in this lineup, of course, makes always sense. If you have that panic button available to you to save someone like Khaldor, that's always great. And especially against that very aggressive stun lock setup that we're seeing for the Google boys, it kind of makes sense to have something that can really keep a hero alive. And once the Tyrande is starting to get those stuns in, especially then after level 10 when you're trying to go for an immortal fight, for example, with this setup you have a chance to at least save that target, not only because of the potential cleanse, but then also because of the Divine Shield itself. So right now this is one of the most moments when especially like what the blue team needs is a little bit more damage, and Vala is catering towards that need. So Vala is the hero that they go for here. She also has very solid poke from a distance, which can be kind of nice if you have one of those stalemates between the Immortals and the teams that are trying to poke from a distance. What they also need in addition to that, I mean, they could think about maybe even a Tacita here to play Tyrande Tacita if they feel that they have enough damage. Tacita is great to provide you vision over the two Immortals as well. And of course, besides that, you also get those shields out there. So there's a couple of advantages to Tacita, even the poke with Storm, for example. That being said, they could also just like add someone else at the front line. I mean, they have an ETC there. Tacita would help to keep him alive together with Tyrande, and yeah, they go for Tacita. I was just trying to mention a couple of like other heroes that they could have used, but to be honest with you, like Ethereal could have made a bit of sense there. Tacita is still the prime pick here in this case. I mean, Tyrael could have been used, but Tacita is like doing most of these things that you need on the map just a little bit better. You get the vision, you get the poke, you get the sustain, so it's a great choice here to go for Tacita. Now, the Sandwich Monkeys, they can branch out here. We could even see a Sylvanas, for example. I mean, we have so far... Oh, okay. I like that. We could have seen a Sylvanas here. If you get the Immortal and you push with Sylvanas, that's great. Stitches and the lockdown to Muradin, Uther, and Kalthas. That's pretty cool. Stitches on this map is actually not bad because you have those Immortals in the middle and there's like no minions that move in. So you can always try to rely on a good Stitches hook. And if Tyrande, for example, is hit by Stitches, you're not going to do anything. Outro One, thanks for the sub. Sub hype is real. What's going on, boys? Thank you very much for that. A lot of support here actually today. So Vala is a great target. Reyna is an amazing target. Tyrande is a good target. Like, if you get the stun immediately afterwards with the ETS, even ETC would be a decent one if you get that. You need to, of course, make sure that that ETC doesn't have the opportunity to maybe use a mosh pit. Like, that's a nightmare. ETC hooks the target in and suddenly it mosh pits and everybody's dying. But the old school combo, like back in the days, like I'm talking alpha here, was Stitches with Uther. Like, you hit that hook, Uther is always next to Stitches and gets that stun in, and then you burst the target away. And they have follow-ups with the stun of Muradin, with the stun of Kalthas Netherwind. So there's a lot that they can do here. I'm really liking that. It has a pretty cool twist to it, and I'm eager to see how exactly the Sandwich Monkeys are going to play it. So guys, let's jump straight into game number 2 here in Battlefield of Eternity. Okay, boys, the game is on. We have game number 2 starting, and as you can see, we have the Sandwich Monkeys with the lead in the best of 3 series here at the Enter the Storm European Qualifier final. The left side, first of all, though, we have their opponent. It is the Google Boys with a stock on ETC. Unstable on Tyrande. We have Sphyxie on Vala. We're seeing Andilendi on Tassadar, and Mopsio is playing Reyna. And you could probably tell in the first game already that I'm doing my best to not call these guys Team GIZ, because I know that Twitch chat is going to have way too much fun with that. To the right side of the map, we are having the Sandwich Monkeys with ADRD on Khaldor, Sport Billy on Uther, Stier on Falstad, BKB on Stitches, and Snow is playing Muradin. Yeah, we have Stitches in the game, and I really love that. Like, Stitches is absolutely awesome. Seeing him as a hero is always kind of fun, because the single hook can just turn a game around. The carry pigeon skin is also being used here, and currently we see Tassadar rotating up to the top to get the experience there. The pigeon is flying in as well. And I mean, the entire setup that we are seeing right now with that surprise last pick on Stitches is, of course, always dedicated to just like get a hook in and then lock the target down with a stunner mirror. And there we see it. That's exactly what I was talking about. Right there. Full in the face. I have no idea how BKB hit that hook. Looked for a second like he went all wanted style there and like circled the hook around the minions. But that's exactly that lockdown. You hook a target and you lock it down with the Uther stun, with Muradin and Khaldor, and then you burst it away, which is exactly what they just did. So that's one of those things that we're going to see a little bit more often today. And depending on how the game goes, I mean, the cool thing about Stitches is that no matter how far you are behind, in this case actually but no matter how far you are behind, if you play it right, you can always come back into it. Uh-oh, ETC! Stork is in trouble, and he gets hooked again. Get over here! And taken down. Tyrande losing that stun a bit too early, not hitting anybody. And this is how you play against the Tyrande boys. You pick Stitches. Well, it's not as easy as that, of course, but so far it's working out quite well for them. They are playing a pretty cool style there. And oh my god, this is the third kill already. They are going full ham. It's a triple kill right at the beginning of the game. And they're getting hook after hook in. I am loving it. Hungry for more. And yes, indeed he is. So the talents, I mean, you saw them already. It's pretty much what you would think they went for here. And again, the hook. Tyrande is getting wrecked. And I mean, I've been saying it during the draft already. If you are playing on this map, then of course in the middle of the map for the objective fight, there's no minions around. You can get basically a hook every single time if you hit that. There's nothing to interrupt it, nothing to block it. So that's exactly what they're abusing right now. And they're using it in the perfect way. I'm loving this draft. I mean, ADRD was always like one of those guys that influenced the draft of all of the teams that he's been playing for. And I suppose now that he's in a position where he can really just like talk and discuss things with BKB and the rest of the team here in a pretty cool setup. The Sandwich Monkeys just have very, very strong ways of influencing all of that. And the draft that they went for is great. And again, they go for one. I guess he wanted to go for Reyna here, but he gets another hit. Now, on the other hand, Khaldor is in trouble, and there's the kill against him. So yeah, for now at least, we're seeing that the Google boys are not just simply like, yeah, giving up in this game. They're not just simply rolling over and saying like, alright, screw that, we're done with. But they are actually fighting for it. And that Immortal could still end up in their hands. But guys, we have a couple of things to talk about, right? I mean, the level 4 talents hit and we have a few surprises here. So, first of all, let's talk a bit about Tyrande herself. She went into Ranger's Mark on level 1 and then into the Searing Arrow. In itself, not really something that is too surprising, but it is something that has been a bit out of fashion now. Again, the fight in the middle. We don't even get a chance to talk about these talents, but believe me, we will. So right now, the halftime show has started, and we're seeing the two Immortals going for their position switch again. And in this case, we have an immediate burst onto the blue Immortal. The red team is trying, and Uther gets isolated, and there's the kill. Stitches with a hook against ETC. Stork! Does he get storm-bolted? No. But we have the stun thanks to Tyrande. So yeah, we have the Google boys back to business right now. They are back in the game, and the Immortal is still being fought over. The burst is much, much stronger, though, for the Sandwich Monkeys. And they look like they are going to get this one. It's close, but they claim the first Immortal in the game. As I was saying, we have, in terms of Tyrande, now a build that hasn't really been all that popular lately, but of course with her going for Searing Arrows on level 4, she adds just more damage to the entire setup. And that makes a whole lot of sense, since they have Tassadar as well. So they rely on double support, and that kind of forces them into a bit of an adjustment. You can't just simply go for the cooldown reduction build on Tyrande and try to rely on the heals of the Shadowstalk the entire time. So they need a bit more single target damage, and that's what they get with the Searing Arrows here on level 4. Besides that, we have on level 4 now also Manticore taken. And that basically caters towards the same needs. If you go for Arsenal, you get a lot of wave clear. But on this map, we have only 2 lanes. And when we're talking about wave clear, you don't really need that too much here. So all that siege damage that you would get with the Arsenal is not really all that needed here. So Manticore just helping once again with a single target damage, and that's exactly what helps them to get that damage in against a hero like ADRD's Khaldor if he gets isolated and maybe locked down with the Tyranda's done. So 2 great talents and adjustments here on 2 of the heroes already, which makes a whole lot of sense. By the way, during all of this, we see ETC up at the top here, still being attacked, but they burst down in tower, and now we have the heroes on level 7. We have a few more adjustments than that. On level 7, of course, Tenderize for Stitches. That in itself is not really a big surprise, and is one of the main things that you want to do with Stitches is you want to slow targets down. Putrid Bile is probably what he's going to take then on level 10. But on level 4, we have him with the Putrid Ground. So if you infect hero targets even more with the Bile Gas, Khaldor's dead again. He's going to be the priority target throughout the entire game for the setup of the Google Boys. But they lost Tassadar trying to push the bot lane. And that is a much bigger deal, actually, than losing Khaldor. And why is that? Pretty simple. We have with Khaldor now a hero that loses out experience at the bot lane. And already Falstad is waiting for whoever is moving down to the bot lane here. Asphyxie actually thinking that he might hide in that bush, which was not really the case. But that's experience lost right now for the blue team. So Asphyxie with with a very good kill at the bot lane against Tassadar. And that's pretty much perfect. So with level 7 talents now ready, and with everything else pretty much what you would expect in... I mean, we had quite a lot of talent adjustments here already, which I find absolutely amazing. I love that. I really like that the teams are adjusting towards the builds, towards the lineups that they have, the roster, and also the map with a set of talents that we've seen now taken. So that's pretty cool. We have also, by the way, with Manticore and Searing attacks now as well, of course, so much single target damage. And single target damage that we're seeing on the side of the blue team is amazing. But that being said, the Immortal is back again. And BKB, of course, always with a chance to land another hook here. But for now, the teams are just like bursting down the Immortals to half health. And that's when we are seeing again the position switch coming into play, which is happening as we speak. And for now, BKB just probably going to wait for another opportunity to hit a hook. AD already needs to be careful with this positioning here. He's going to be the priority target, and before he has Arcane Barrier, he's going to be incredibly vulnerable. Of course, Squad Billy could help him with a Divine Shield, but we're not there just yet. And here comes the approach at the front. BKB is waiting, and Uther is already dead. That's the power of Tyrande that we see here, and especially the power of that setup. I mean, it's easy to say that Tyrande is, of course, the main reason for it, and there's definitely some truth to that. But at the same time, you have to realize how much single target damage we actually see here. So once that first stun came in and Tyrande is able to use her Ranger's Mark, then, of course, Vala, Tyrande, all of these heroes that are getting even more damage onto a single target are just shining completely and able to burn that down. That's really where we're going to have to see more cleanse than later on, where we need to see also that Divine Shield come into play. So the early game is nearly over now that both of the teams are heading into level 10. And we have both of them in just a few seconds with that heroic ability. It's 4 kills against 5 right now. The Immortal is up at the top lane, and pretty much alone actually, together with Vala. That's why we have Falstad now flying over to try to push back that a bit and at least get some experience. And here's the level 10 now also. So we have now Mighty Gust taken. We don't see Stitcher with the talent yet. Putrid Bile is normally the choice. Could we actually see Gorge here? It's ages since I've actually seen a Gorge Stitches on that level. Normally it's Putrid Bile, and this game is no exception. They go for Putrid Bile here. We have Marla with Strafe, we see Shadowstalk taken, Tassadar with a Force Wall, the Mosh Pit, of course. Top fort has been destroyed. Sheer gets away. BKB with a Putrid Bile. Can he escape? Doesn't really look like he can. They're trying to stun them out. BKB with a Divine Shield that might allow him to get away, but nope, they just block his path once again. So eventually Stitches is going to fall. This is trying to buy a bit of time for his team, but right now they lost Stitches, and now they have to make sure that they are not losing more heroes than that. It's a double tank setup that we're currently seeing being played by the Sandwich Monkeys, and in the early game it really worked out for them thanks to those great hooks, but now it's starting to get a bit more difficult for them. Level 10 on the other hand should help them thanks to the Divine Shield. In this case, it was more of a positional mistake than anything else. I mean, BKB was, of course, like trying to save Falstad here. That's why he moved a bit far out, and you can't really blame him for that. But the Google Boys just really saw an opportunity, and they jumped on it, and they did a very good job isolating him and making sure they had no chance to move away, even with the Divine Shield. The important part for the Sandwich Monkeys was that they didn't lose more heroes than that. He's back already, but now they have, of course, an entire level as a disadvantage, and that is going to result in an earlier level 13 talent for the Google boys, and that means that they could actually use that talent advantage to go for another Immortal, and that is going to be a big problem. Camp is still taken. So the camp is taken for now. I mean, in this case, it didn't really result in them having a disadvantage or anything. They're currently seeing at the top lane, Khaldor's moving in. Level 13 is going to give him chain bombs. And the later stages of the game are going to cater a little bit more towards the Sandwich Monkeys. They're going to have on level 16, of course, that range increase on the Stitches hook, which is going to be super important. They need the Arcane Barrier. Chain bombs, of course, first of all. So all of these talents are going to be very powerful later. The problem is, can they really get to that state of the game without like falling farther and farther behind? Stun is hitting again, BKB. Oh, and the hook is just a little bit too late. You could really tell how immediately ADRD was there with a stun on his own, trying to just like combo that off. It's pretty similar to what we oftentimes saw with Stitches and Tyrande, just like hook into stun. Or even with Diablo and Tyrande, you go in, you just like slam targets around and you immediately stun them, and this is pretty similar. But in this case, they only hit TSaM, and of course he dimensional shifts away here, so that didn't really help them. Yeah, Putrid Vial being used. Nice Mighty Gust. Can they kill the targets? No, BKB is low. Gets the Divine Shield. Snow jumps out, and in the end, it's still the fort that is eliminated thanks to the Hyperion, and that results in the level 13 talent where we have now Sprint taken for Tyrande. She doesn't need to go for Overflowing Light here with that TSaM being around, so she goes more for the NA style of playing her, where Sprint is one of the most preferred talents on Tyrande. We're also seeing now Groupies taken, we have Prescience. The Immortal is basically abandoned since, well, of course the Sandwich Monkeys know they can't really fight here without having that 13 talent. Giant Killer on Reyna is going to increase the single target damage even more, which is definitely not going to make for a fun time for the two frontliners. ETC here in a bit of trouble, but he gets away. ADRD far out, but he still gets healed and is not really in trouble just yet. But the level 13 talent is still lacking, so the only thing that the Sandwich Monkeys are trying to do right now is reduce the shield. They burst down as much as they can, and will now try to get level 13, so at least that they have that ready for the defense. But we still see the Google boys here with a pretty solid situation, and they eliminated 2 of those forts already. So their spot in the game is pretty much secure. Bot lane, that's of course where a few more of these could fall, and once the minions are gone, the experience should result in that level 13 talent for them. And they can also try to burst, of course, a few of those shields away on their Immortal, which is exactly what they do. But here comes the flank. The flank is moving in. We have chain bombs now. There's also Shrink Ray, Relentless for Stitches. That's going to help quite a bit. And they start to move in. And ETC is down. No way for him to escape this one. Great play here, actually. Very, very well done. And that's exactly, of course, what you need to try and utilize. Those just like those stuns in general. And now BKB, maybe even with a chance to just hook somebody in, but he does not have the fishing hook yet. And without it, you just don't have the range to get a target from that far distance. So the flank didn't really work out, and the Sandwich Monkeys just basically said, like, boys, we're still in this. We haven't lost this game yet. We are behind, but we can still do this. So right now, they are, of course, roughly a level behind, and they have to wait for an opportunity to maybe win a team fight and get the experience back. But they are at least in a position where they can finally rely on ADRD's chain bombs. Would of course be great for them to also have the Arcane Barrier to give them a bit more safety, but Uther is still there with the Divine Shield. And they go straight for a hook, and this time TSaM is just barely getting away, but that was a close call. The camp is taken, and the mosh... No, the camp is actually not taken. The mosh pit is actually still there. They give the camp up. Mosh pit was cancelled by the Mighty Gust, dropped into a wall, but the camp was stolen away. I could have sworn it was taken already. But nope, it wasn't. And now BKB is losing a few more hit points over here. Ah, great job actually by the Google boys. Looked very good for the Sandwich Monkeys for a moment, but then that turnaround there. It's of course a bit of a problem that BKB hooked again at TSaM. I mean, it's not like he had a really big choice, nobody else was available in this situation. But TSaM is one of the only heroes. He is actually the only hero. So it has a pretty easy time getting away of these situations unless he's completely stun locked. Yeah, now it's that early level 16 talent that could be a big problem for the team in red. So the Sandwich Monkeys, they have to probably try and force a fight before that happens. Andilendi is already there. Snow is getting a bit more experience for his team now. A bit of an idea of what the damage is currently looking like. 62,000 yen siege damage for Vala. Rain on 30,000 damage already. By the way, like Tyrande with 15,000 damage with the damage build that she chose to go for in this game. And now level 16 is of course getting dangerously close for the blue team. And that's what they are currently trying to get. And that's why TSaM is still at the bottom of the map. And there's that extra talent. And this is just like a disaster for the Sandwich Monkeys. The last two Immortals, this one included, they were always behind one talent. And now they are in a really tricky spot. They won't be able to get this level 16 talent anytime soon. I mean, Falset is still there trying to de-push the bot lane. Kalthus is there too. They already put some pressure onto the Immortal, but now they're just like moving away for now. BKB isolated for a second, but nice going for the Phoenix. Just push them back. Speed Metal has been taken. The two-shot Aura. We see a blood for blood. Of course, the Dimensional Warp. No 16 talents yet, and they go for the fight. They say like, guys, we have to do something. And Andy Lenny is actually losing a lot of hit points. Especially that Thunderclap. Whoa, Snow. That's so much damage against him at this point. But the Immortal is down to half health, and there's still no level 16 talent. There's nobody that can deliver it either. I mean, the experience is just not there at this point. And they go in again. Here comes the chain bombs, trying to get them in at least. ETC! Oh, he's spreading the love. They get pushed away, but they still can't get that kill. Cassida is low, but he gets away again. Putrid Bile, Divine Shield still has to move away. Divine Shield is out. ETC is killing Stitches, and Sport Billy is about to get dropped too. It's that level 16 versus 15 that's really breaking the neck. I mean, this is the biggest problem that they have right now. The entire situation for them was still alright, but the timing of the Immortal is absolutely unfortunate for the Sandwich Monkeys here. It's also just great for the Google boys. I mean, they always delay a little bit more until they finally have an opportunity to fight with the talent advantage. They capitalize as much as they possibly can on these situations, and they do very well with this. Oh, well, ADR has to actually be careful. He's going very far out to deliver the experience, and they don't even need him here there. There's the Arcane Barrier now, finally. He's trying to move away. We have the Fishing Hook as well. Uther is going to be back in a second, but of course it looks very much like the keep down here is already going to be forfeit. I mean, who's going to stop that Immortal? It's not only about the keep. This is more about, like, is the core going to survive this? I mean, we're talking core here. Finally, it's the same talents, but might actually be too late already. Yeah, Stitches moves in again with a Putrid Bile. Stalk is there. No Gravity Lapse just yet. No stun. They get away, but the core is already taking damage, and BKB is down. What started as a beautiful game for the Sandwich Monkeys is going to result in a loss. Down go the two frontliners, and this is the opportunity that the Google boys were waiting for. This is going to be the 1-1, and we are going to see a third game in the best of 3 series at the final of the European Enter the Storm Qualifier. Job well done by the Google boys. GG, well played. And that's straight in the game. Game number 3, everybody, is on Dragonshire, so we have the final map already announced, and we're going into the draft as the Sandwich Monkeys are going up against the Google boys, and this time it's actually time for the Sandwich Monkeys to go for the first pick, first ban. The last time we saw them, giving Tyrande up. I'm not quite sure if they would be willing to do that again. For now, they actually just ban out Thrall to make sure that the Google boys don't get access to Thrall again, and Mopsy was playing that hero several times already today. Basically, every single time that they got the opportunity to do that, Tyrande is being banned out. We saw in the last game why that is, and that would allow the Sandwich Monkeys to go for a Kalthus if they want him, and yes, indeed they do, so Kalthus it is. Whereas now we're having for the Google boys maybe an adjustment. They could go for a Sonya, for example, over Thrall. Like, if for them it's really just like one of these scenarios where they say, okay, Thrall would be our preferred choice, but we could also go into the Sonya, then we might see a Mirrodin Sonya pick right now. But there's also a Falster to consider, for example, which we see here, and a Zagara. Okay, so pretty sweet setup here for them. Catering towards the map, very different from what we've seen so far here. It's also the first time that we see Dragonshire, actually. On Dragonshire, a Zagara can be absolutely amazing. Usually you take position at the top lane and you get great vision over what's going on. The teams are normally at the beginning of the game even fighting over to those 2 points where you can put the creep tumors up so that you are more or less safe against any kind of rotation that is trying to take Zagara out, and she usually delivers one of those shrines perfectly towards you. Unless you have a Thrall against you who can really bully you with a Chain Lightning, or a Chen, which we have seen occasionally. He has come up, once or twice, mostly on Dragonshire, actually. Chen is one of the few heroes that can just push Zagara back or make sure that she doesn't win the lane. but he is still one of the heroes that we don't see all too often. There's a couple of bugs with him still. I mean, if you go for the flying kick, for example, usually you're supposed to like end up behind the target. That doesn't always hit. You don't really kick through the target. There's a couple of other things with him as well. But as is, Chen can be played, has been played, but he's still very rare. So for the Sandwich Monkeys, if they're going for their front line, there's still the ETC and also Muradin. Both of them are available here. They can go for the two heroes. They go into Tassadar first of all, though. And Tassadar is a hero that will help them a lot with the creep spread of Zagara. But it's also a hero that they already played today several times. On Tomb of the Spider Queen, we saw them with the hero as a solo support. They played him as well as a solo support, but together with an ETC that went into Proc Rock and Groupies, so that he had at least a bit of heal. So Tassadar definitely something that the Sandwich Monkeys, they like to rely upon him. And for now, they have to go for another pick, and that's of course, there could be that ETC again. If they really want to go into the Proc Rock and Groupies combo, it would help them, but they go for Leoric first of all. And I mean, Leoric, the first time that we actually saw him in competitive play was in the European scene on Dragonshire, played back then by Navi, and right now we have him here in the game for, of course, that siege damage that you have, that wave clear. And he is most likely going to be the counterpart of Zagara up at the top lane. And he can really just like cater towards that. And we already saw them today with this hero going into Entomb. So it's a bit of a question of if they are trying to play like a solo tank, a double tank. As a double tank setup, Entomb is a great choice. Oftentimes when you see him as a solo tank, it's still much of the Black King, since it gives you a little bit more sustain during the fights themselves. So that's kind of what we could expect here. The Google Boys, with the ban that they have now, they could either go into a ban. They could ban out a little bit of damage here. I mean, they already have a Zagara and a Falstad. They could, if they don't intend to take Vala, even ban out Vala. There's a couple of heroes that you can actually get rid of at this point. I mean, there's Vala to consider, for example, and yeah, well, they actually ban her out, so I don't even have to continue with the options that they have. Vala is banned out here. Great choice, I like it. Sonya as the counter ban. I mean, as I said before, if you don't get Thrall, Sonya is a good alternative. She is a good choice there. And the TSM, or Team Sandwich Monkeys, they agree. They say like, right, let's get rid of Sonya first of all. They like to play with that one tank setup and then also like a bruiser type warrior, which would be Sonya. So in this case, she's banned out. And for the good boys, now they still, well, they need heal, right? They need heal, then they need a frontliner. ETC, personally, I feel combos a little bit better off with Zagara than Muradin, even though you can use that Stormbolt there as well. When we're talking about heals, you could play Malfurion here. I mean, Malfurion is, like, we still have a lot of good healers available. I'm mentioning Malfurion for one particular reason. First of all, there's a Kalthus on the other side, so you could use the your heroic ability, Tranquility, and you could also just get that root in, especially after level 16 with the Tenacious root after Zagara more. That being said, Uther is still amazing with the Divine Shield, and we have Charism still available. So it's not one of those situations where we saw Malfurion earlier today, where a lot of the healers are banned out and you don't have access to them anymore. So for now, they really have to think about how much they value that Tranquility against Kalthus and his Chain Bombs. That's basically like the biggest question for them. Because that Zagara more, that's really something that can lead into a good Tenacious Roots, and then you can get all the damage in, but at the same time you give up that panic button that you have on a hero like Uther when he uses the Divine Shield, and also that utility that you get from the stun. So there's a couple of things to consider with that. Muradin as a frontliner is already strong. ETC would have been a good option as well, since he of course uses that additional damage. And we have a Jaina first of all, even more damage. And for Jaina, Maw is also a great setup. So in this case now, they have Jaina after the Maw. Could still combo that, by the way, with the Tenacious Roots, just saying. The Sandwich Monkeys, if they want to go for a double support, I mean, they could either go for a Kalthus, play him as a melee assassin and rely a bit on his healing powers, or they could just simply Brightwing it. And with Falstad being a global hero, Brightwing would help them there a bit. So this is really, once again, like the personal playstyle that you have, personal preference. Brightwing is great here. It gives you vision with Peekaboo, but you don't have to go for Brightwing. You can play the Tassadar solo, you can play with double support, Reyna already for damage. So now just the question, how much do you really want to double support single tank? Do you want to have another frontliner and just have the single support? There's so many ways how you can play this right now, and it all comes down to personal preference and what your team is used to. And they play the Chen that I mentioned. There it is. Chen is going to have a fun time against Zagara here. Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about earlier. Chen as a counter to Zagara. He's one of the few heroes that can really withstand the Zagara pressure. And so Leoric is most likely going to not be at the top lane, but going to move around into the middle, into the bottom. So yeah, we have a double tank. Okay, this is going to be pretty cool. We have Chen in. and Malfurion as well as the heals. As predicted, or I said, there are a lot of synergies with Malfurion, Jaina, and Zagara. Guys, we have a great draft. We have a great draft, and we have a great third game. So let's jump into it and see which team is going to win the European qualifier at number 7 for the Enter the Storm. The last game in the best-of-3 series plays on Dragonshire, and we have a great lineup for these two teams. If you actually skipped the draft, you definitely have to go back and check that out again, because, yeah, we had a fun one. As you can already see, we have to the left side Stalk on Muradin, we have Mopsy on Jaina, Unstable on Malfurion, Undilendi on Falstad, and Sphyxy on Zagara. And to the right side of the map, the Sandwich Monkeys, after leading in the best-of-3 series with a 1-0, now finding themselves on the third map, with ADRD on Kel'Thas again, Sport Billy on the solo support Tacita, BKB on the Chen, the big fat panda. And Snow is playing Leoric with Stier on Reyna. So a very, very solid setup here. And of course in the mid lane currently we have everybody around here already trying to burst some damage. And they actually go straight for a tower. Yeah, and they are going to get this one if they really want it. You should probably move back though. Especially as Leoric is eating a lot of damage there. Oh, the stun! And Snow is going to be dying, as is Tacita. Yeah, hashtag not worth it. Losing 2 heroes to nearly kill a tower. If they could have gotten the kill on Jaina, then maybe it would have still been alright, but as is, they lost a bit too much here. Stalk is actually pausing the game right now, so apparently they are having a bit of a problem. As I already said before, there's a lot of synergy with the heroes here overall in general, especially after level 10. Ring of Frost, Blizzard, comboing over more, and then maybe even have those tenacious roots to hold everybody in place is pretty cool. So those are things that they are going to try and do. We have now on level 1 already the Regeneration Master talent taken here for Chen. And seeing the big fat panda in play, we will most likely see him trying to just bully Zagara up at the top. And Zagara will try to set creep tumors down in both of these bushes right now, which makes her kind of safe against any kind of roaming that is going to happen. But of course, Chen, he can really, really bully her on lane. He's one of the few heroes that can actually do that, which is why oftentimes we see him as a counter. Well, not really all that often, but every now and then. He's coming back into the meta. So down to the bot lane, we have even more pressure. Kel'Thas is being attacked, is rooted, and goodbye. Wow, like, the Google boys are actually doing really well here, I have to say. I mean, the last game, we already saw a pretty cool draft on the side of the Sandwich Monkeys with that Stitches that came into play. And then great coordination from the Google boys, and they forced this third game. But right now, they are really putting in the work. A 3-0 lead, only 1 minute into the game. That's pretty impressive here. So we have, in terms of builds on level 1, by the way, Give Me More now taken for Reyna. So we're not even going for Season Marksman, but in this case just saying like, hey, if they lock us down, we need to somehow keep it in play. Already Reyna is being attacked, and Give Me More didn't even save him here. It's 4 kills against 0. Could that be a Drag Knight already? Well, ADRD is not quite. Now with ADRD trying to go for the Dragon Knight, with that surplus of heroes that we had up at the top for the blue team, there was a chance that the red team is going to sneak in that Dragon Knight, but yeah, they one temple or one shrine was snuck away a bit too fast. Yeah, here comes the Frost Shard, so probably also going to be the Icelands on level 7 for them. They're seeing that build a little bit more often. It's kind of dominant in the North American scene for a few teams at least, but for now it's again that lockdown against ADRD, and wow! Kel'Thas is dead again. This time, on the other hand, Undilendi might fall as well, but nope, there is no additional storm. It's only Jaina, so it's still a trade. The 2 mages both dead, and that is always amazing. Like, that's always cool. Like, as a Diablo player, I hated those sorcerers. I really hate them. Yeah, to just put it blunt, Zauberschlampen einfach bleh. And we have, in this case, right now, really solid heroes, the warrior type surviving here. Nah, seriously, I hate sorcerers. So Swift Reflexes on level 4. We have Colonel Leeching Plasma on level 4 taken as well. And we're having now these ones. And once again, of course, 2 of the shrines are already taken. It means that there's an opportunity to go for maybe the Dragon Knight. But ADRD is ready, and so is Snow. And that could actually lead into the death of Jaina. She gets a good Blizzard off, though. Dies, but ADRD, wow, gets away. And it's a kill against Falstad, too. The Sandwich Monkeys are showcasing right now that they are not that easily defeated. They might have lost a couple of heroes in the early stages of the game, but right now they are just announcing that they are already back to business. Moving to the bot lane, trying to at least steal one of these these shrines away, as Leoric is still guarding in the middle. Stalk, Sport Billy, yeah, they all move to the bot lane. They can't really lock down Muradin here, but they get the shrine, and that's all that they wanted to do right now. Hardened Bones taken on Leoric. We're seeing, of course, now Leeching Plasma for TSaM as a solo support. He needs to go into Chaos Embrace as the next talent. Unstable is already waiting on his doubloon here. Oh, Snow just basically goes for a blind hit here. Hits that hard and falls dead. Well, mistakes were made. So Falstad is dead. The bird has been plucked again. And down to the bottom of the map, we're seeing Stalk versus Sport Billy as ADR is starting to move in together with Styr. It looks a bit like Muradin didn't really see this one coming. So it's another kill. Level 7 versus level 7 now, with 5 kills versus 5 kills. We're seeing indeed Icelands on level 7, but besides that, we're also having now Brewmaster's Balance taken for the Big Fat Panda up to the top lane. And he is going to need that. BKB going up against Jet Dragonite. He secured it for them. But he paid with his life. So he stayed on the shrine long enough for his team to get the Dragonite, but it resulted in him dying. Leoric is going for Austin's Renewal on level 7 for a bit of extra sustain that he has here now. And besides that, we are now seeing also Revolution Overdrive for Reyna. Again, we have Rapid Incubation taken, second time today that we see the talent. It's one of those great things about Zagara, that in level 7 you have actually like a lot of choice of what to go for. Battle Momentum, Endless Creep, Rapid Incubation, all of them super solid. And in this case, it is indeed Rapid Incubation for the extra sustain. ATRT, wow! This time he does not die. Level 9 versus level 8. Look at Mopsio here. Not only Mopsio, Andilendi is also low, and they need to get at least one kill, and they do. Jaina dies, so we have at least Andilendi surviving, but wow, this fight, like this game, they lose 5 heroes at the beginning of the match, and then they turn it all around, and they are extremely close to level 10 now. And with them moving down to the bot lane to maybe even... they won't be able to take down that fort, but still, they do solid work here. That level 10 ability is going to hit any second for them now, and that of course gives them a massive lead. They are more than a level ahead. Storm, Earth, and Fire for BKB. Oh, Andilendi once again super low, and the Panda moving out of the way. The fort still being attacked now that we have Phoenix and Tomb as predicted, the Force Wall, and also Hyperion chosen as the level 10 balance. Personally, I have to admit that if you're playing like Quick Match or even Hero League, it doesn't really matter. Going for the Keg is like one of the best things. I personally think that Wandering Keg is probably the best heroic ability in the entire game. Not in the sense that it's the strongest, but it's definitely the funniest heroic ability that you can go for. I don't think that it has anything that beats that, like taking a hero into your team. So for now, lockdown against Reyna. The shield keeps him alive for a bit longer, but he dies. So does Reyna. So does Falstad though. So it's a kill for a kill. And guess who's having some trouble at the top lane? It is Spixie. And they already forced Zagara into Rapid Incubation, but still BKB is able to win the lane. Exactly what we've talked about at the beginning of the match during the draft. Chen is one of the few heroes that is able to win a lane against Zagara, and he's showcasing exactly that as we speak. Even with Rapid Incubation, Spixie is not able to keep this lane alive here. Cams are taken on the map now. We have Falstad flying in, trying to help Spixie on Zagara out. But this game, 7 kills against 7. Snow in the mid lane. We have now with the level 10 abilities on the side of the blue team. Oh, actually, Storm, Earth, and Fire has been used to maybe get those pandas back to safety. For now, though, they are actually going for, thinking about going for Andilendi, but it looks like BKB is going to get away from this. Muradin had to use his avatar, by the way, in the middle. Apparently stalking a bit of trouble here against the opponent. More, of course, Tranquility, Ring of Frost. Talents that we expected, with Mopsio always having the opportunity to follow up a good more with the extra damage. Gets another shot there. Gets penetrated by the penetrating round of Reyna. And to the bot lane, again stalking a bit of trouble. And whoa, that's not only a bit of trouble, that's actually him dying. Down goes Muradin, and that's level 12.5 that we're currently seeing for the red team. So the Sandwich Monkeys, they are really talking business right now. BKB has to be careful, he's up against 4, but Styr moves in. Yeah, this time the Panda is down. That's a bit too much damage for him to handle. 4 heroes against 1, but as is, we're seeing the rest now moving in too, and this is the end of Jane, or at least it should be. Malfurion is also locked down thanks to the Entomb. He is dead, but ADRD is dying as well. So currently we have both teams with 3 heroes on the map. There's the Maw, Spixie with the damage. Styr moves away and escapes as Andilendi is taking the hits from Leoric. but the Hardened Bones help him to escape. He is again a potential Dragon Knight, but I don't really think that that's on Snow's mind right now. For him, it's more important that he actually escapes here. And he might not. He's moving in again, tries to go for a bit of damage against Sphinxy, and actually puts a lot in, and is nearly escaping, but not quite. So level 13 talents are now ready, and that Dragon Knight is still being fought over. Andilendi is flying down to the bot lane to steal one of those shrines away. And this time he's going to be able to deny the Dragon Knight to the opponent's team. But the level 13 talent is now giving ADR the opportunity to finally use those chain bombs. And BKB is already there, hopping straight on top of Andilendi. He's gonna have that ready in just another second, and that kill should be secured. Jumps in, and he does it. And Malfurion is actually also falling now. They don't have the level 13 talent yet. They can't even fight here. And this is just a disaster now. 12 kills against 10. What a game. We're 9 minutes in and we have 22 kills in this game. Again, the move to the top lane. This time Snow is going up against Muradin. And of course, with his Drain Hope, he's going to do a lot of damage in this scenario as well. The level 13 talent is finally available to them, and that means extra damage on Muradin, or at least it's very likely that it does that. Doesn't really need to go into something like... Actually, like, I could have seen, thinking about it, I could have seen Leoric go into Burning Rage. I was just like about to say that Muradin doesn't need to have to go into Burning Rage, since of course they run the Zagara, not the other way around. But we have nobody going for Burning Rage here, even against that Zagara creep spread. But with Tassadar, of course, on their side, they don't really need to. Oracle alone is really going to help them with that. Oh, there's the Force Wall. BKB jumps in again, slows them all down, and they go for it. But with Leoric still in the middle of the map, they don't really want to follow this up right away. Leoric actually is going for the Dragon Knight. Leoric is going to get that Dragon Knight too. That's the second Dragon Knight in the game. And for now, why did he actually push? Why did Andilendi just push everybody away? What? Okay, spread the love, spread the bombs, and... Oh, unstable, so low. And over here, Mopsio is on the run. Run, Jaina, run! Kicks her to death. Dragon Knight kill. Best kill. And he gets another one, but he can't really kick him down. So yeah, 15 versus 13. That's going to do the levels here. They're jumping in as we speak. And in this case, it looks like it's going to mean keep. We have 14 kills against 10. The keep is about to fall. We're 10 minutes into the game. Originally, they got demolished in the early game, but right now the Sandwich Monkeys, they go for core. They actually go for core 10 minutes in. What is this, quick match? They kick Muradin away. The Snow is still there, and Unstable is so low and dies again. ADR, on the other hand, gets locked down, but he has the level 16 talent now. That means Arcane Barrier. The kill against... No way. Zagara and Jaina, the Dragon Knight is gone. Styr is there, 70% on the core. And Mighty gusting them right into the keep once again. They go for Andilendi. The bird is still alive though. Chen is down. 40% of the core on the other hand. They go in again. Here comes Andilendi. 24% on the core. And they have the damage that they need. The game, ladies and gentlemen, is gonna be over in a moment. This is the final taken by the Sandwich Monkeys. 11 minutes and 30 seconds, and the Sandwich Monkeys are victorious. GG, well played, and congratulations.
And that is it, everybody. GG and well played. The game's over, and therefore also the video for today here on Khaldor TV. We had another great Heroes of the Storm match, and I hope that you enjoyed it. Also hope that you enjoyed the commentary, of course. So thank you very much for tuning in today. If you enjoyed the video, make sure that you give it a thumbs up on YouTube. And of course, if you haven't subscribed to Khaldor TV yet, you should definitely hit that sub button as well. If you have some friends that like Heroes of the Storm, then definitely make sure that you show them the channel and also the video. There's a lot more where that came from. We're going to have like continuous content throughout the next few weeks with more Heroes of the Storm matches played, not only on the European server, but also on the North American server, in tournaments, in leagues, and more than that. So guys, once again, thank you very much for tuning in today. I hope that you had some fun. It was a pleasure casting for you. And I'm going to see you next time with even more videos here on the channel. So have a great day and see you soon. Bye-bye.